Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Caitlin, and I feel like I should have like some sort of catchy slogan. Like Angelica is always like, you know, I'm a lover of fashion and makeup, and then Bailey has hers, and then Manny has his. And I just feel like everybody has like their like little like what you get. And for me, I'm not really sure what you get. I try new makeup sometimes. I'm also wanting to be more like intentional with my makeup purchases, and today's video is not a great example of that, but I want to you know, try and reuse palettes that I already own, palettes that I love. Like none of my collection is getting as much use as it deserves. So anyways, as you can see by the title, we are ranking my 15 through 16. It might say top 15. I haven't decided what to title this yet, but we're doing, what did I say, 15 through 16? I'm ranking my 15 through 6 palettes because if you're unfamiliar with Annette's Makeup Corner, she does this every year where she, or at least last year and this year, she ranks her 15 through 6 place palettes, and then for palettes 1 through 5, she does a video using each of those palettes. So the top 5 each get a dedicated video. I thought that might be fun, so that's what we're doing. And this is just palettes that I tried and are new to me in 2020. So the fact that I have 15 palettes that are new to me in 2020, and the fact that I actually have tried and purchased more palettes than these 15, so these are just the top 15, there's more than that, is kind of ridiculous. But you know what? If there's one thing that got me through all this time in quarantine, is just being able to play with makeup. I'm not going to fault myself too much for that. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're gonna start with number 15, and this is a palette that I just recently featured on my channel. This is the Waiting Room palette from Melt Cosmetics. It's part of their Melt X Beetlejuice collection, and this is what she looks like in case you didn't see that video. Just a very maroon, reddish, gray, black color story, which ironically, red is probably my least favorite like eyeshadow shade to use. So I don't know why I like this palette. I really like these shades, and then I think these grays are fabulous. And Juno, even though it's only meant to be a topper shade, I think it's a beautiful topper shade. So I like the quality of this palette. I think these grays are just really fun like mattes to have in my collection, so I did really enjoy the palette. I liked the quality of this, and so even though it's not necessarily, the reason it's 15 and not like higher, I think, is because it's not my favorite color story, but the reason that it made it in the top 15 at all is because it is good quality. I think it's some of the better shimmer formulas that I've tried from Melt, so I really like that palette, and of course the packaging is incredible. Next up, okay, I'm debating if I want to reorder this. Okay, I've only used this palette once, so it feels wrong to put it any higher, but I do really like this palette, and from what I've seen, everybody's giving it really positive reviews, so I'm sure once I use the other colors, it'll go up higher, but for right now, putting it any higher when I've only used it once feels wrong. Anyway, so this is the Raw Beauty Kristi and Colourpop At Forest Sight palette. Just beautiful, like, it's almost like a grungy rainbow, but like a fall-toned rainbow, if that makes sense. I don't know if it did, but I really like this palette. I've only used it the one time, but performed well, liked the color, or like the performance, like the look I created. So anyways, that's that. The next palette that is going to be number 13 is the Baroque palette from Colourpop, and I just think this is just such a unique color story, this like slate blue grayish tone, and then these like middle shades have like a warmth to them, but they also reflect really like a cool tone. I don't know how to explain it. It's really pretty. It's definitely different, not something I've had, and I think this like outside packaging is really nice as well. So next up we have number 12, and that's going to be the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. I really like this palette. Now I am debating whether or not I should have put this higher than the Colourpop palettes, but I do like this, so I'm gonna keep it where it is. First of all, it smells divine. I love the way it performs. The shimmers aren't the best shimmers I've ever tried, but they work well enough, so I do like them. And then I think these mattes blend out really pretty, and I really like this color story. So next up, number 11 is, and this palette's going to be really dirty, and I'm really sorry in advance for all of the fingerprints on it, but this is the Clam palette from Natasha Denona, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Hopefully I'm not blinding you. So it's just a very cool toned palette, but if we were actually having holiday parties or we were all actually doing anything, I'm sure I would be getting a lot more use out of this palette, because when you use it, it's just so pretty. Natasha really has one of the best shimmer formulas, I think. And so no matter what you do, if you put one of her shimmers on your eye, it's just a beautiful look. So really like that palette. Okay, so number 10 is the Melt 420 palette. This palette did not get good reviews. So okay, so first I actually didn't purchase it because when I saw it, I was like, okay, I have, the Gemini palette, I have the Vita palette. I feel like between those two, I can replicate this. Like, I don't need it. But then I saw I can't remember who, I saw swatch comparisons of this palette to the other Melt palettes, and while the shades were similar, they weren't exactly the same. So in my mind, I was like, well, they're not exactly the same, so I should buy it. So I did purchase this, and then I watched reviews on it after I purchased it, and people were just like, no, I hate this. But I just really like this color story. I'm holding this in the weirdest way. I really like this color story. I think it's super pretty. I personally didn't have as much trouble with the mattes as everyone says. Yes, this shade, like, you can kind of see how much of, like, I've used every shade in this palette, and like you can tell that some of these shades didn't require much dipping in, but like these two, the lighter shades, you do need to go in more and more to like really build up that pigment. They're not the most pigmented, but I like it. I think it works nice, and yeah, so that's number 10. Number 9, and I debated including this one because it's a controversial palette. This is a palette that Colourpop launched, and people were upset about the packaging because it is culturally appropriating indigenous peoples in North America, in their culture. So people were offended by that, and Colourpop wasn't, it isn't a indigenous owned brand, so it's not really their place to be using those prints and things like that. And in addition to that, they weren't like launching it to like bring awareness to like indigenous influencers or doing anything to make it like there was a reason for that. So people were offended by that, and rightfully so. And Colourpop has said that they are going to relaunch this palette with new packaging, and I believe with a different name, once they sell out of the current packaging. Given how much Colourpop launches, I kind of doubt that that's ever going to happen at this point. Like, I think that they're just going to kind of cut their losses. Like, once this one's done, it's done. I do appreciate the fact that if you go on their website, they don't show the palette like in the packaging as like the first photo. It's like each individual, it's like a picture of like the shades, but the packaging's not there, if that makes sense. But anyway, this is the Sandstone palette from Colourpop, and really, it's not necessarily even the packaging that I like. I'll flip this around. I just really like, they had said that this was meant to be like Southwest and like Sedona inspired, and I really feel like you get those colors from it, and I just think I really like this color story, and I really think all of the mattes, all of the shimmers, they blend well. I know people hate the sequin formula from Colourpop. I feel like with these sequins, I just use them as regular mattes, and I don't end up with like glitter or anything, but you can pat them on and keep that glitter. So I don't mind that formula. I agree though, like if they were just regular mattes, I think I would prefer that, but it's not that big of a deal to me. But anyway, I really like this color story. I really like the way it performs. I like the depth to it. So that is number 9. Number 8 is the Trio Chrome palette from Natasha Denona. I think I've only done 3 looks with this, where I've done the like top row, middle row, and then the bottom row. But I have a lot of ideas and really want to play around with this palette. I really like this palette. I think it's just, the multi-chromes in it are beautiful. I think it's worth the money that I paid. I did buy it on sale, and I had a gift card, so I didn't pay as much as it is full price. So I know that it's super expensive, but I really like that palette. Number 8, this is another one that I apologize in advance for the dirty packaging. This is the Bronze palette from Natasha Denona. I just love this palette. I just think these shades are so pretty. When she first announced this palette, I was like, I want to buy that so bad. But I had bought the Sunrise palette, I think is the mid-size one. Yeah, Sunrise. I had bought that one and didn't love it as much as I thought I would, and I was like kind of Like, am I really gonna like another Natasha Denona palette? I don't know. That was the only Natasha Denona palette I had at the time. Oh, I did have Safari, and I do love Safari, but that's almost all mattes. This one's a majority shimmers, and when I saw pictures of it, I was like, you know, a lot of those shimmer shades look the same. Like, do I really need it? No, probably not. I don't really like, you know, warm tones. And then I bought it, and it's stunning. It's similar to the Glam palette. Like, any shimmer from Natasha Denona that you put on your eye just looks amazing. Okay, and then the last one that we're going to go over today is number 6, and that is the Lunar Lavender palette from Kaleidos. First of all, I just love their packaging, but this is what she looks like. Ooh, here, we'll go like that. Just a really pretty mini palette with these purples. I love the shimmery shades. You know, performs well, everything blends well. And yeah, so that is our number 15 through 6 top palettes for 2020, and let me know your guesses on what you think my top 5 from the year are going to be, and I'm going to be doing an individual video with each to kind of roll that out. If you guys haven't already, please like this video, comment, like I said, give me your guesses for top 5. Also subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna be doing the top 5. You don't want this to be like unresolved, right? We only got to 6. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.